Alright, so this is how I teach beginners the bench press. This is how I introduce the bench press to people. Of course, you can modify it in a whole bunch of ways, but this is where I would start from. I'm going to give a quick explanation of each step and then kind of a quick review at the end. So I'm going to sit up. I want my feet to be fairly close to the bench. If you have really mobile, open hips, you can widen up. Some people like that. They think it gives them more feel of stability. But I start people off kind of close to the bench. You don't want your knees to be behind your toes on the setup. Lie back. I'm going to put my hands on the uprights, and I'm going to use this to squeeze my shoulders down and together. So this is the beginning of setting my upper back tension, pushing up against the uprights. As you can notice, it's lifting my chest, and again, the shoulders are coming down and together. Now I'm going to push through the balls of my feet. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, lift my hips off the bench. And this is going to be setting the beginning of my back arch. So right now my eyes are under the bar. If you have someone spotting for you, you can have the bar over your forehead maybe. If you're benching solo, then eyes under the bar is a good idea. And as I put my butt down, I'm going to try to rest minimal weight on it. I'm really using glute tension. I'm supporting my weight on my feet and on my upper traps. I don't want my shoulder blades to be stuck on the bench. This is going to be just freeing up my scapula for good shoulder mechanics if they're not touching. So I'm going to maintain this position, put my hands on the bar. I start most people out with a grip about a hand's width outside their shoulders. You can go wider than this afterward if you want. I tend to think that if you start out super wide, that can cause some strain on your shoulder. So start off there. You can, of course, go narrower as well. Now, if you're benching solo, you want the bar to be on the front of the hooks. You can start off on the back of the hooks if you have someone spotting you. So on the front of the hooks, make sure your eyes are underneath the bar. As you place your hands on the bar, you're going to finish locking in your upper back muscles. As I think about pulling my shoulder blade across to my opposite hip with my lats, which is further engaging my lats, lifting my chest, I'm thinking about squeezing my pinkies and twisting, corkscrewing here as though I were trying to break the bar. So I lock in. Now, you should have the hook set up at a height that if you just finish straightening your arms, the bar comes unwrapped. Now I'm going to finish locking in my upper back tension using my lats to pull the bar directly over my shoulder. All right? So this is the starting point. Now, in terms of where I touch, the shorter my arms are and the wider my grip, the higher on my chest I'm going to touch. I have kind of longer arms, and I have a moderately close grip right now, so I'm going to touch at the bottom of my sternum. As I lower, I want to think about keeping my chest high. What I don't want to happen is this to cave in and my shoulders to roll forward. Okay? So I'm going to maintain this position that I set up at first. As the bar descends, chest stays high, elbows stay fairly tucked in. Again, the wider you grip, the more your elbows can come out. I'm touching on the bottom of my sternum. Now, as I press, I'm thinking of using my legs to push. I'm driving through the balls of my feet, and this push back on the bench, I'm going to imagine it lifting my chest up and driving the bar up to the ceiling. That's the first part. The second part is, as I push, I'm not thinking about just lifting with my hands. I'm pressing from my shoulders and my armpits, which is going to engage my pecs and lats more. All right? So, from the start, quick note on the feet. For most people, I have them just stand on the balls of their feet to start. If you're a competitive lifter, you may have to put your heels down, depending on which federation you're competing in. Other than that, it doesn't really matter. Needless to say, your feet shouldn't move for the duration of the set. Lie back. Hands on the uprights. Start setting up my upper back tension here. Eyes under the bar. The bar at the front of the hooks for me. Set up my arch. Lift my hips off. Put it back down. Glutes tight, barely touching the bench. Most of my weight, again, upper traps, balls of my feet, shoulder blades not squished on the bench. Hands on the bar, whatever I choose for my bar width. Locking in, squeezing the pinkies, pulling the lats down, shoulder blades to the opposite hips. Straighten the arms to unrack. Use the lats to pull it over my shoulder. Now I'm all set. Controlled descent, I'm thinking of pulling the bar down, almost doing a row type movement, lifting my chest up if I can. Touch, leg drive, push from the armpit to the elbows, rack. There you have it.